I messed with
How many men were you sleeping with when you conceived your child?
One.
Testify to that.
One.
So what's the one your best friend remembers?
Okay, yeah, there was a dude before I got pregnant, but we did use a condom, and it was just once.
Are you sleeping with both of them?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
What?
Yeah.
You said doing what she's doing.
Pretty much she was having sex in the back of the car.
Judge Lake kicks things off, announcing we're about to dive into a paternity circus with the case of Renfrow versus Toozy. The courtroom's buzzing like a beehive, all set for a baby daddy drama fest.
This is the case of Renfrow versus Toozy.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Renfrow, you claim you are 100% certain that the defendant is the father of your 6-month-old son, Kendall. You say Kendall was born with a serious medical condition and believe it was genetic passed down by the defendant.
Ms. Renfrow steps up, totally sure Mr. Toozy is the dad of little Kendall, who's got a tricky health issue. She's all about today's DNA drama. Strap in, because Mr. Toozy's about to shake things up.
He hasn't been there. He wasn't there through my pregnancy. When I had the baby, my baby, he wasn't there. For his surgery, he wasn't there. I contacted him. I tried to let him know, and it was still nothing. No response, no forget about, nothing.
So you're saying, Ms. Renfrow, that Mr. Toozy hasn't shown any care, concern about...
He's never even seen my son.
The tension's so thick you could slice it as Mr. Toozy denies being the dad, itching for the test results to prove him right. Things are about to get spicy.
One time, and that was it, and I realized the baby just don't look nowhere near like...
So you admit that you have not stepped up to the plate for the baby because you truly don't believe this child is your child.
I looked at the baby, look, the baby looks way too white.
Okay,
I'm white.
So Ms. Renfrow...
I'm white.
Ms. Renfrow throws shade, accusing Mr. Toozy of running from daddy duties because he doesn't want to pay up. She spills the beans on his MIA status during her tough times. Let's see how Mr. Toozy swings back.
Yeah, we started out friends, like we met through mutual friends, and it was sexual, and we talked about being in a relationship, and then when I found out I was pregnant, I took 7 pregnancy tests.
You discover you're pregnant.
Yes.
And at that point, you say Mr. Toozy just backed off.
Yeah, there was no contact after that. He ignored my calls, messages, blocked me.
Big reveal time. Mr. Toozy admits to a one-night whoopsie at Miss Renfrow's place, but says that's it. He thinks the kid doesn't even look like him. Everyone's eyes are glued to Judge Lake now.
It wasn't
The
no
dudes
ex.
that she had sex with before, and I know this fact.
5 months prior to...
What did the text messages say, sir?
I really don't remember what he said. I just kind of glanced through it.
Which indicated that you may not be the biological father of a child, and you can't remember none of them?
It's not that I don't remember, I just didn't know what
He was
said to
being
her.
nosy and trying to find something.
Ms. Renfrow talks about how Mr. Toozy ghosted her after the pregnancy news. She's painting him as the king of dodging. Just when you thought it was just about a baby, we dive into medical drama.
Do you
Fine.
remember being in a sexual relationship with Ms. Renfrow?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Do you remember not using protection?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember that's how you make a baby?
Yes, ma'am. But only reason why I said it land my baby is because I was with this girl for 5 years, and we was having unprotected sex, and I didn't get her pregnant. And not only that, about 2 years ago, me and my good friend, we had sex, and she got pregnant.
Here comes the health talk. Ms. Renfrow says Kendall's condition is in the genes. Mr. Toozy's like, not in my family. Things are getting twisty with a medical expert waiting in the wings.
My son has a issue with his stomach. He was born with what you call Hirschberger's disease, and it's passed through genetic. And none of my other kids have it. I had sex with him, got pregnant, and my son had to have surgery at 6 days old. He had to have part of his intestine removed.
So, Your Honor, I don't have any type of medical condition.
Ms. Renfrow gets teary about solo parenting and needing to pin down the dad for Kendall's health. The room's holding its breath for the doc's scoop.
He just needs to take responsibility for his child.
Were you intimate with anybody else during the window of time when Kendall was conceived?
No, Your Honor.
Are you sure of that?
Yes, I'm 100% sure. I know who my kids belong to. I don't just lay down with everybody. I don't sleep with everybody unprotected. And when I do have sex...
And why would you have another guy signing the birth certificate?
Dr. Gator steps up, talking about the disease and throwing in a curveball. It might not be inherited. Everyone's on the edge of their seats as she starts dishing out the science.
To have to raise this child without the man you say is biological father and go through all of this medical, I mean, look, when you're having a medical issue, everybody knows the first thing they ask you is your family history. You're not able to give a lot of the information related to Mr. Toozy's side if in fact he is the child's biological father.
Because he ignores me.
Because he won't cooperate.
Ms. Renfrow's friend Chris Kristen takes the stand, trying to back her up but also slipping up about Ms. Renfrau's love life. The crowd's prepping for a plot twist with the DNA reveal.
Please stand, ma'am. State your name for the court.
I'm Kristen.
What testimony can you offer related to the paternity of baby Kendall?
Well, like Danielle said, if that's his dad, that's his dad. I believe her. I don't believe she's a lie. If there was a possibility, I think she would tell me about it.
Oops, turns out Ms. Renfrau's been busy. She admits to a few other flings, which makes everyone second guess her story. DNA results are up next, and it's gonna be a doozy.
I messed with
How many
somebody.
men were you sleeping with when you conceived your child?
One.
Testify to that.
One.
So what's the one your best friend remembers?
Okay, yeah, there was a dude before I got pregnant, but we did use a condom, and it was just once.
And what planet do you live on where condoms are 100% effective?
Well, when it's like
I have a lot of people that need to move there.
Judge Lake's all about keeping it real for the kids' sake. The DNA results are about to drop, and the suspense is killer.
Miss Renfrau, it does matter though. I just don't want you to convince yourself of this lie. You understand that who you slept during the window of time before Kendall was conceived is relevant. Did you sleep with him a month before you found out you were pregnant, or a month before the window of conception you were given? Two different things.
It was before I found out I was pregnant. I'm not even gonna, but we used a condom, so I know who my kids belong to, and
DNA truth bomb drops. Everyone's jaws meet floor.
Mr. Toozy, you are not the father.
Yes!
oops.
Told you!
Oops.
Do you know who is?
Yes, ma'am. If he wasn't the father, then yes, ma'am, I know.
Hold on. No. Look, little smart mouth, because you done got on my nerves now. Sitting up trying to pin a baby on a man. Hold on, I'm talking now. Since all you can do is shrug your shoulders all the time, never testifying to the whole truth. And that's wrong.
And we're off to a rollicking start in the courtroom. The session kicks off with Jerome, the court officer, calling out the day's case, Hilburn vs. Barnes. Both parties are ushered in and given a warm welcome by the judge. As they settle in, you can't help but sense the brewing drama.
This is a case of Hilburn versus Barnes.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. You admit that you've been caught up in a love triangle for the past 3 years, which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Saray.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Barnes dives into his tale of woe, recounting the heartbreak of discovering Ms. Hilburn's betrayal on none other than Valentine's Day. Just when he thought they were patching things up, she continued her affair. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what's next.
Discovered Ms. Hilburn was cheating on you on Valentine's Day. Ended, but soon after giving Ms. Hilburn another chance, discovered she was still sleeping with other men. And while you're hoping you are Saray's father, you do have doubts.
Mr. Barnes recounts how deeply involved he's been in the child's life, from doctor's appointments to ultrasounds, even trying to sign the birth certificate, only to hit a snag because Ms. Hilburn is still legally married to another guy. The audience is just as shocked as you are. But wait, there's more chaos to come.
It's a father-daughter relationship. I was there from start to finish. Ultrasounds, I was there when she was born. I signed all the paperwork to be on the birth certificate. Well, I couldn't be because she is still legally married, so I was not able to be put on it.
Oh!
Ready for a twist? Ms. Hilburn gives us the lowdown on her complicated love life, revealing her ongoing affairs with Mr. Barnes and another mystery man, spinning a web of drama that's the textbook definition of a love triangle. Just when you think you figured it out, the story evolves.
I met Mr. Barnes through an ex of mine. He was friends with him, and we developed a relationship and started sleeping together. And then we started to have issues, and I met another guy and started to sleep with him behind Mr. Barnes's back.
Grab your detective hats because this mystery deepens. Mr. Barnes recounts the dubious Valentine's Day Eve when secrets started to spill. With all involved parties under one roof, tensions were bound to rise. The revelations keep coming, and your jaw will drop at what happens next.
Before Valentine's Day, which is the first time it happened, she said she's going to her friends. Okay, fine, go ahead. I get home, I try texting her, try calling her, no response. Miss Hilburn and the other gentleman come back to the house. They're brought by the people that they stayed with, by the people who brought them, that they had slept together that night.
That is not true.
He had been telling him that she was not with anybody at that point in time.
Ever heard of a living situation this sticky? The judge can barely keep up with the bizarre living arrangement that Ms. Hilburn describes. She was juggling both men while they all shared the same address. You'll want to stick around to see how this entanglement unravels.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, Mr. Barnes expresses his dismay and confusion over the tangled web of lies spun by Ms. Hilburn, while she coolly admits to manipulating the situation. The drama escalates, and trust me, you'll want to see how this pans out.
Dumb enough to believe her lie.
She was never told. If I would have known at that point in time that there was another gentleman she was messing around with, it would not have been.
Said it was going to be different. That's why he's still sleeping with me in the present.
Mr. Barnes, are you still intimate with Miss Hilburn?
Yes, ma'am.
As the tension mounts, emotions run high. The couple debates the timeline of their tumultuous relationship, highlighting the emotional roller coaster they've been on since Saria's birth. The stakes are high, and the next revelations are even more jaw-dropping.
I did tell him before the baby was born that there was a chance that she could not be his.
You told me 2 months after Saria was born.
You nodded affirmatively. He does love her, right?
And when I told him, he didn't want to believe that she wasn't his.
And that breaks your heart because you did finally try to tell the truth.
Yes,
And then he
it did.
didn't want to believe you.
Time for some courtroom action. The judge decides it's time to cut through the chaos with DNA tests for Saria and prenatal testing for Ms. Hilburn's unborn child. This decision aims to bring some clarity to the convoluted situation. You won't believe the results, so stay tuned.
Saria happened before we even got together. She was born before we got together.
So she knows about Saray?
Yes, she's been told that it's possibly mine.
She believes
All right.
stronger than father. No.
So this is just a bona fide mess. Really? Because basically the other guy is just having sex with you and using you.
Yes.
Here comes the moment of truth. The DNA results are in, and they're about to turn the courtroom upside down.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father.
Can you believe we're starting off like this? The case of Van Meter versus Watkins kicks off with a bang. The judge calls the court to order, and the plaintiff, Miss Van Meter, steps up with a sense of urgency, determined to prove the paternity of her son, Cedric, after her recent health scare. She's hopeful that getting the defendant's name on the birth certificate will bring some stability. Grab your popcorn, because this is just the beginning.
Ms. Van Meter, after a recent medical scare, you realized it is imperative that you prove to the defendant that he is the biological father of your 3-year-old son, Cedric, so you can put his name on the birth certificate. Our hopeful today's result will help save your family.
This next part is a roller coaster. Mr. Watkins lays out his paternity doubts, which have put a strain on his relationship with Miss Van Meter. Despite their breakup over her infidelity, he has remained to play dad to Cedric and Miss Van Meter's other child, who also lacks a father figure. Strap in, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Ms. Van Meter, what is the current status of your relationship?
We are not in a relationship. We just live together at the moment. We broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated, and he has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time. I don't really know why he stayed. I just know he has stayed.
Hold on to your seats. This twist is something else. Doubts about Cedric's paternity are fueled by Miss Van Meter's secretive behavior with her phone, which Mr. Watkins caught on to. It all blew up when he caught her in a compromising situation in a car, escalating their issues and casting further doubt on his role in Cedric's life. The plot thickens, so stay tuned.
How did you find out she was cheating?
I saw her on the couch texting, but I could clearly see what she's doing. She's texting and deleting messages. Pretty much was arguing about it, the fact, what she was saying, and I was like, you wasn't saying that because you deleted them. I was coming back. One of her family picked me up and told me that they saw her outside in the car doing what she was doing with the dude.
What?
Yeah.
You said doing what she's doing.
Pretty much she was having sex in the back of the car.
You won't see this coming. As emotions run high, the discussion turns to the possibility that Cedric might actually be fathered by another man, the one Miss Van Meter was caught with. Mr. Watkins, despite his doubts, passionately speaks about his commitment to being a father figure, driven by his own childhood experiences. The emotional roller coaster doesn't stop here. There's more drama ahead.
Do you have any additional doubt or evidence?
I don't really have a bond with him. Like, I love him, but every time I see him, I just see him the same way I see her daughter, her kids. I just see him as just cute kid. He's cute and he's awesome. And we play fight all the time. Sometimes he don't know when to stop. I'm like, man, all right, good done.
So, Mr. Watkins, when you look at, do you see the other guy?
He looks nothing like the other person. He looks like him.
This is a heart stopper. In an emotionally charged moment, Miss Van Meter reveals her hope that the paternity results will confirm Mr. Watkins as the father, particularly because she wants stability for Cedric given her health concerns. The stakes are high as both parties acknowledge the looming possibility of another man being Cedric's biological father. The tension is building, and you won't believe what happens next.
These paternity results will save the relationship.
That ain't because I had a scare about my cancer and I had a biopsy done. At the end of the day, if something happens to me, I want my son to know who his dad is. I want him to be there for that person and to know that he loves
loves him and all that.
Who is on DeCedre's birth certificate? Who's listed as father?
Nobody. I'm the only one on there.
But he has Mr. Watkins' last name.
He named him.
Wait till you see this climax. The court finally delivers the paternity results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
The court session begins as the judge allows everyone to be seated and greets them. The case of Valdez-Lark versus Pitts-Slater is announced. The participants exchange pleasantries, setting a formal yet tense atmosphere. You won't believe what's coming next in this roller coaster of legal drama.
You may be seated.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Valdez-Lark versus Pitts-Slater.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone.
As things heat up, Judge Lake dives right into the heart of the matter. Judge Lake addresses Miss Valdez-Lark, who explains that her engagement to Mr. Slater is on hold because she suspects he fathered his ex's child. Miss Valdez-Lark's distress is evident as she discusses the uncertainty about Mr. Slater's fidelity and paternity of the child named Harmony. The gravity of the situation is underscored by her emotional state. Get ready, because the plot is about to thicken even further.
Your engagement to your fiancé is on hold. Determined today if he cheated on you and fathered his 1-year-old daughter, Harmony. You are that ex and are not only here today to prove paternity, that he is still attempting to have a sexual relationship with you.
You'll need to see this to believe it. Mr. Slater denies being the father of Harmony, claiming he hasn't had sexual contact with Miss Pitts for years. The tension escalates as Miss Pitts counters Mr. Slater's assertions, insisting on his involvement. The interaction reveals deep disputes and unresolved issues between the ex-partners. Strap in. This emotional roller coaster is just getting started.
There's no way you are Harmony father because you have not had sexual contact with Miss Pitts in years. How did you find out Miss Pitts was pregnant and your fiance was the father?
Back in September 2012, I received a phone call from their 12-year-old daughter stating that Miss Pitts would like to speak with me.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, a phone call from the past surfaces. A complex backstory unfolds involving a phone call from Miss Pitts' daughter, leading to Miss Valdez-Lark learning about the pregnancy. Miss Pitts expresses her intention was not to create drama, but to address the paternity issue necessary for an adoption process she was considering. This revelation introduces additional layers to the conflict, involving multiple family members and sensitive decisions. And guess what? It's about to get even messier.
She wanted to speak, so I was like, fine, put your mother on the phone. I will speak with her.
I have been trying to get in touch with Mr. Slater
to sign some papers.
I could not get in touch with him.
Correct. So I was her last
her.
hope to get in contact with Mr. Slater. I will call you back. Let me get in touch with him so we can continue the conversation, because I wasn't going to continue the conversation without him being in there.
Hold on to your popcorn, because here comes a direct confrontation. Mr. Slater, maintaining a low profile initially, is directly questioned by Judge Lake about his belief in his paternity of Harmony. He firmly denies it, attributing Miss Pitts' claims to an alleged obsession with him. This denial sets the stage for further confrontations and the exploration of his past relationships and actions. You won't want to miss what's coming up next.
You're mighty quiet over there. You get this call, and do you believe you're the father? You don't?
No, Your Honor, because I haven't had sex with her.
So why would she say, if you had sex with her at all, why would she just come up with your name like you the father?
Because she obsessed with me. Every relationship I be in, I got her.
Why?
Brace yourselves for the moment of truth. The climactic moment arrives as the paternity test results are revealed. Tensions peak in the courtroom as everyone awaits the verdict that will significantly impact multiple lives.
Mr. Slater, you are her father. Keep on lying.